Okay, so let's get the things done. Today I'm a little bit in a hurry, so let's see if we can make everything. Oh, today is different because today we're not reading the stories. I didn't even realize that.
Why aren't we reading the stories, man?
So today we can talk about anything we want. Today it is freestyle.
Venerable Sir, why are we not reading the stories, by the way?
Because some of you don't have the books, so you couldn't do the homework.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't have the book.
Why?
I didn't know we were gonna have it this soon.
So we hope to read the study. We hope to continue reading next week, but for this class, we enjoy. No homework, no problem. Taking it easy. Some of you didn't even come. I see who hasn't come. Valentina didn't come. And May didn't come, right? Yes, yes, Emily. Emily, what is it?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
How do you be kind and tell the truth at the same time?
I see.
Because sometimes when you tell the truth, you're being rude.
That's right. To be kind and tell the truth, you need to study and have an extraordinary knowledge so that you can say things in such a way that they are kind even when they're not kind. So just there's an example that a boy goes with a girl out and the girl asks, "So how's my clothes today?" So he can say, "Oh, it's so ugly." So he said the truth, right? But it's not kind. Okay, so what can he do? There is a better way. And he could say, "Other days you look better." It's not much better, right? But it's definitely different. Imagine that he would say, "Other days you look better." And he would say, "Oh, you're so ugly today."
First of all, it's not lying and it's not very direct to the question.
But wouldn't that be sugarcoating?
Sure. But the answer is given and everybody understands the thing. So there's no intention to deceive. There's no intention to mislead. Okay, there's the intention to show what's true, but in a kind way. Yes, Tiri? Tiri. I will start with Tiri.
If you're in a situation where telling the truth will harm others, but if you stay silent, it will harm you, then what do you do?
For example, can you give an exact case?
I can't think of one.
You will have to give an exact case.
Oh wait, I can think of one. If someone asked, I don't know, I can think of it, I just can't describe it. If some person was some criminal or something, asked the names of someone else so that they could harm them, but if you stay silent, they will kill you, then what would you do? I
see. In Buddhism, we stay silent. So there's this case of a monk. There's this case of a monk who went for alms round. You know, he went to the village to get meal. And his donor, who was a diamond cutter, invited him into the house. And he kept the monk in the room where is a very important diamond for the king, that the diamond cutter had to cut for the king. And so the monk came into that room, and that diamond was ruby. It was a ruby jewel. So not a diamond. And now, while the gentleman was preparing the meal for the monk, a crane came in. A crane came into the room where the monk was, and the crane thought that the ruby is actually a piece of flesh. And so the crane gobbled up that piece of gem and flew away. Then the diamond cutter finished preparing the meal. He came to the room where the monk was waiting, and he could see that the gem disappeared. Ruby is gone. So, what can the monk do? So the monk either can say that the crane came and took the ruby. If he says that, the gem cutter will kill the crane to get the ruby. And so the monk cannot say that. So the monk was silent. "Oh monk, where is the ruby?" And the monk was silent. "You took the ruby." And the monk was silent. "You stole the ruby." And the monk was silent. "Monk, tell me." And the monk was silent. And the gem cutter was 100% sure that it was the monk who stole the ruby. Because that's what people do. They're 100% sure. And so he started to beat the monk. And as he was beating the monk to blood, at one point, somehow they probably went out. Or I think I saw a video of that. I don't know where. Anyway, and so they went out. This was in the Buddha's time. And so they went out, and as the gem cutter was beating the monk, the crane came along. And somehow the crane put his head between the monk and the gem cutter. So the gem cutter unintentionally actually hit the crane also. And as he hit the crane died and vomited the ruby. Somehow that happened together. So the gem cutter could see that it was the crane who stole the ruby and not the monk. Surprise! 100% sure. That's what people do. And so the man, but at that time already the monk was dying. And so the monk, because he was apparently enlightened or something was good with him, he went to heaven, and the gem cutter went to hell.
Naturally, because he tried to kill the monk.
Because he was 100% sure. So we are never 100% sure. It's extremely hard. Because anyone who's around you, if they see that you are not 100% sure, for them you are a fool. Suppose that you are 99.99999% sure. You're a fool. Because everybody else around you is the stupid guy who's 100% sure. So if you are not 100% sure, for them you are stupid. For you, they are stupid. For them, you are stupid. You understand what I mean? They're different. In the human language, if somebody is different, we say they're stupid. It's a different way how you say somebody is different. Doesn't mean anything. It just means that they're different. So, but we don't want to be called stupid. Because it's very hard to understand that stupid means just different and nothing else. We don't want to be called stupid. So we do stupid things so that we are like the others. And when we are like the others, suddenly we are intelligent. Because we are not different. Until, of course, it is found out that all of us are wrong. Well, then we are stupid. Because we said it. We were forced to say it, but we said it, so we are stupid. But everybody else was the one who was persuading us to say that, to believe that. But we are those who are stupid because we said it. No, all of them are stupid. All of them are stupid. But they will not accept it. They say, you said it. It was your idea. Because they need to protect themselves. So, following 5 precepts is a dedication. It's a sacrifice. It's a heroism. Okay? If you want to be a hero, you follow the 5 precepts. But heroes suffer a lot. Many heroes suffer before they become heroes, as heroes, and when they die. So following 5 precepts is pretty hard. And so this gem cutter, what he could do, he would say, okay, you know what, monk? Here's only one thing. Take off your robes, and I will just find where you have that gem. He doesn't find that gem anywhere on the body. Okay. So he says, okay, so monk, you will stay here in this house until I get the gem. He doesn't have to beat him. Do you understand what I mean? He could say, okay, you know what? I took your robes. I examined your robes. I saw your body. I don't see it anywhere. But I cannot do anything until I get the gem. Because if I don't get the gem, the king will kill me. If I don't get the gem, the king will kill me. And the family, if he has a family, and the family will die by hunger. So that's a problem for me, Venerable Sir. So please stay in the house. Don't go anywhere. And we will have to wait until the problem gets resolved.
He could also just have promised not to kill the person who stole the ruby.
But he had no idea that somebody else could steal the ruby. So you cannot find a solution based on a special knowledge. He didn't have the knowledge. He didn't have the idea that somebody else could steal it. So the only thing he could do was he would say, okay, you know what, monk? I'm 100% sure that you stole it, but I do not see the ruby on your body or in your robes. Because he needs the ruby. He doesn't need to hit the monk. That's all. He just needs the ruby. If he has the ruby, he's good. So, but he has no idea that somebody else could steal it. He knows that there was the monk in the room, that there was the ruby in the room, and that the ruby disappeared while the monk was there. So, it is very highly probable that if the ruby disappeared there and there was only the monk, that it was the monk who took the ruby. And there is no other solution. But at the same time, it's not resolved because the gem cutter doesn't see the ruby. So where is the ruby? Did the monk actually eat it? Or did he put it into his, into his bum? Or where did the monk hide it? Or did the monk use some psychic powers and make it like disappear and appear somewhere else? Doesn't matter. The man could simply keep the monk there in the house until the problem resolves. Until either the problem resolves or whatever. And then when the king comes or when somebody comes, the gem cutter needs to explain. So I kept the monk here in this room and there was the gem. And then I came to the room and the gem disappeared. But I couldn't find the ruby with the monk. So what should I do? You know what I mean? You basically deflect your responsibility to someone else. King wants the ruby. Okay, so here's the situation. I have lost it. I'm sorry. So you kill me and my family will die by hunger. But I still don't have the ruby. Or I killed the monk, but I still don't have the ruby. Do you understand what I mean? Because killing the monk doesn't really help anything. So the only thing that he could do would be really to keep the monk in the home until he gets the ruby. And of course, examine the monk's body very carefully. Maybe take a doctor and ask the doctor, can you please put something to the monk's mouth so that he vomits everything that he ate and find out whether the ruby is there. Maybe examine the backside, the backside, do you call it backside? The bum, and see whether the ruby is there, and so on. You want to find the ruby. You do not want to kill anyone or whatever. That will not help anything. So this is what I would probably do. Okay, but whether I would really get the ruby or not is hard. And the monk would maybe say that the crane took it, but it will not help me anyway. Because if I follow 5 precepts, I will not kill the crane. And if the man does not follow 5 precepts, well, then anyway it's wrong. Then anyway the man is wrong. So the first solution would be follow 5 precepts. Second solution would be patient. Okay, and try to examine. Check, what do you really want? Do you want to kill the monk? Do you want to punish the monk? Or do you just want your ruby back? Okay, you want your ruby back. Okay, so now think, where will you get that ruby? So I think the solution here of the gem cutter was totally irrational, illogical, useless. Even if he kills the monk, he will not get the ruby because the monk doesn't have it. What would he do then? He would like cut up the monk's body into pieces and examine his stomach and his backside. Probably he would not do that. A doctor would be able to do it while the monk is still alive, even in those times. No need to do this. No need to kill. So the gem cutter was doing something totally irrational, totally doesn't make any sense. I almost worry that this story is made up to show to lay people that lay people should not accuse monks immediately whenever they are 100% sure that the monk did something. You know, to show that 100% sure is not sure. It's wrong. You're 100% sure, aha, that means you're 100% wrong. So 100% sure doesn't work. I think that's the main point of the story. It's like a fairy tale. It's very hard to believe that it really happened because I cannot really imagine a gem cutter who would not be interested in getting the gem, but he would be interested in killing a monk. Because again, killing the monk will not help. He was beating the monk. He's beating the monk. Maybe he was asking the monk, where did you put it? But that still doesn't help anything. He could just force the monk to stay in the home until he returns the gem. Then he shows where did he put the gem. Or he could go with the monk to the Buddha and he could say, oh Buddha, this monk stole my gem. And the Buddha would say, no, he didn't steal the gem. And then he would see, aha, something's wrong. So please Buddha, can you help me? What can I do about this? Or what should I tell to the king so he doesn't kill me? Oh Buddha, please help me. And then Buddha would surely say something. Maybe the Buddha would say, I don't know, I'm not a Buddha, so I don't know what the Buddha would say. But my idea would probably, if somebody came to me with this kind of problem, I would maybe ask a biologist, somebody who knows very well cranes, and I would ask whether there is some food that can attract other animals to come to eat and to vomit. So the crane would come, eat the food, and vomit. Because if I were the Buddha, I would already know that it was the crane who stole the ruby. So for a Buddha, this would already be resolved. The crane stole the ruby. Now the problem is different. How to get the ruby without killing the crane? And without suggesting to the gem cutter directly that he needs to kill the crane. We don't want to do that. So probably, so I wonder if the Buddha would suggest to the gem cutter to prepare some kind of food that's delicious, but it will make the crane vomit the ruby. And then the crane will come to eat the food, vomit the ruby, the gem cutter gets the ruby, and everything is resolved. That would be my idea. And the crane would just vomit, but that's it. The crane would then leave and be healthy.
But wouldn't that be causing suffering for the crane?
Well, the crane stole a ruby. That's not the crane's ruby, right? So here the intention is just to get the crane to return the ruby. And I worry that actually the ruby could cause the crane more suffering if it went through the digestive tract through the largest intestine and small intestine than if it goes back through the throat. So in the end, actually vomiting the ruby would be healing the crane from a bigger problem.
I see.
That's just like medicine. It's like a vaccine where the vaccine gives you like a small injection that doesn't really hurt you so that you don't get very much hurt and die from other diseases that are actually dangerous.
That's a very far-fetched simile, but truth is that the vomiting thing is just making the person to vomit. It doesn't put anything. I don't think that it puts anything into the blood, or maybe it does. But it creates a kind of bowel movement and the stomach movement that take out everything that you have in. But they do not. But the vomiting medicine doesn't stay in your body like the vaccine stays in your body for a long time. And the vaccine prevents problem, whereas vomiting medicine doesn't prevent anything. It resolves a problem that's already present. Yes, Azwe? Now it's yours.
Did the crane really had need? Because you said the crane thought it was a piece of flesh, right? So did he intentionally steal the ruby, or was it like by mistake? And did it count as a bad deed, or did it not count as a bad deed?
We don't know. If the crane thought that this is just some little animal that just died there on the table, then probably it's not a bad deed at all. But if the crane thought, oh, this is certainly the flesh prepared by the people for their food, but I don't care, I will eat it for myself, well, then that would be stealing. We don't know the crane's thoughts.
And was stealing the gem a bad deed? Because it was like not intentionally.
I don't understand.
It was stealing. Yeah. When the crane stole the gem, would it count as a bad deed? Because I don't think he actually, I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, but I think we are back at the problem of the meat, right? Because the crane would probably not eat it if the crane knew that it's just a piece of stone. Because for animals, it's just a piece of stone. So for the crane thought that it's a piece of flesh, and we don't know whether the crane thought this is just some animal who died on the way, or whether it's a piece of flesh prepared by the people for the people. Or maybe it's actually a piece of flesh prepared by the people for the crane. The crane might have different thoughts, and we do not know what was the thought of the crane. Again, it's hard to tell for me. I don't know whether it's more probable that the crane just wanted to steal it, or whether the crane just didn't know and saw a piece of flesh, so it ate it. But I'd say very probably it was not a bad deed. That's my feeling, but of course I could be wrong. He could have the intention to steal this piece of flesh. I'm sure the crane would not eat it at all if it knew that it's a piece of stone. So then no need to talk about stealing of a ruby, because that implies that it's something valuable. But for the crane, again, I think that was not valuable. Because for animals, these stones have no value. They cannot eat those stones. They cannot sleep on those stones, so it doesn't really help. Yes, Tiri?
Because some monks have mind reading powers, couldn't they figure out that? Or does it only work on people who are alive today?
That's the point, that if the gem cutter took this monk to the Buddha or to some other great monk, and he would ask that other monk to resolve this problem with this supposed robber, well, then he would probably get his answer. So the other monk would say, you need to take this kind of food you need to prepare it at this kind of place, at that kind of time. And the monk would hopefully, the one with psychic powers, would hopefully know that the crane will come. And the crane will eat that food and vomit the ruby. And so the gem cutter would follow the instruction. Yes?
Wouldn't the monk actually know the crane's intentions and thoughts?
I see. But those intentions do not change anything. Because the monk who was waiting for the gem cutter to prepare the meal, who was waiting in the room with the ruby, he saw himself that the crane came in and took the ruby. He didn't need any psychic power for that. He saw it himself. He saw, oh, crane now is coming. Oh, crane now is gobbling the ruby. Oh, crane now is leaving. He could see it by his own eyes. No need for psychic powers. But he could not tell it to the gem cutter, because if he tells it to the gem cutter will take an arrow and a bow and an arrow and just kill the crane. And the monk didn't want the crane to die.
I see.
Okay, Andre.
I have two questions. So, if let's say there was a man and there was another man. So, if you pick option 1, then the first man died. If you pick option 2, the second man died. If you don't do anything else apart from picking option 1 or 2, then the third man dies. So, what do you do?
I would say I don't play the game.
What if you're forced to play the game? And if you don't pick anything, then the fourth man dies. Or no, the third man dies.
Yes, I understand. But I would just stay motionless.
So what if you stay motionless, then they assume that you're not doing anything.
That's their problem. But from my side, I stayed motionless. And I clearly expressed myself that I do not agree with this game. So those are these. There's this riddle. Do you know the riddle of the train? You're driving a train, and you have there a fork, left and right. And on the left there is one worker. On the right there are 5 workers. 5, railway workers. Now they are working, they don't see you, they don't know anything. So your train is coming, and it's coming, and everything is set up that it will come and kill those 5 workers. Will you then press the lever? Do you say lever or lever?
Either.
Anything is fine. So you press the lever. And if you press the lever, then you can change the train to the other track where you kill only 1 person. Will you press the lever? Will you push the lever or not?
I will push the brakes. Can I push the brakes?
Yeah, suppose there are no brakes. So, or it's too early. With train, it's a little difficult. With train, you cannot really push the brakes and you stand. Trains don't work that way. You push the brakes and you slowly slide further. That's what you do with your brakes. You do not. That's why if you have seen a train, when it stops, it's extremely loud. Because it's sliding over those tracks while, pressing something to slowly stop its movement. It doesn't have a way to really stop. It can only slide and slowly reduce the momentum so that it stops after some time, let's say after 50 meters or 100 meters and so on. So,
are there people?
Yes?
Are there people in the train?
Sure, there are people in the train. Now, so many people would say, yes, I would actually I would actually pull the lever. Now, what if you are on a bridge and you have there 1 man next to you, and now you know that the train is coming and it's coming to kill those 5 workers. Now, will you then push the man who's next to you? Will you push the man so that he falls in front of the train and thus stop the train from killing the 5 people. And many people say, I would not do that. So that's so weird, right? So they would actually pull the lever, but they would not push the person. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. In both cases, you decide to kill one person. And if you don't make the decision, 5 people will be killed. How come that suddenly it's fine not to push the person? And so we never do anything to kill. Okay? Never. Because as soon as you do a little, that means you would have to do big later. And we don't want to do the big, so we don't do the little as well.
Venerable sir, I think the reason why if you're in the train and you're about to hit the 5 people, it seems more like you're the reason the 5 people died.
No.
Because you're
Not in this example. You're not the reason. Yesterday?
Couldn't you just jump on the tracks and kill yourself?
That's not in the question. Not included in the options.
Oh.
Maybe,
Well, is there a
maybe
scenario where that wouldn't be possible?
the point. In Buddhism, however, we wouldn't do that either. Because in Buddhism, we love all living beings to the same level as we love ourselves. And what is the level? The highest, the most loving, the most appreciative love. So we love all of us. So we cannot really choose whether me or other. We are on the same level. All of us have the same value of life, entirely, extremely high. So we never sacrifice ourselves, and we never sacrifice another person either. And if we are put into this decision, we just leave away. We don't decide. So we do not make the decision. Sorry?
You consider like certain people higher, like the Buddha and your parents and your teachers and monks?
Excuse me?
No, like in Buddhism, do we have like some exceptions where monks and your parents and your teachers and the Buddha are higher than you?
They are respectful. They are respectable. They're respectable. But their life, but we cannot really measure the value here. Like the monk may become a layperson tomorrow and he become a criminal and he may become a robber. Whereas the layperson may become a monk tomorrow and he may become fully enlightened. And you don't know. So we cannot really say that the monk's life is more valuable than another person, because the monk may soon become an evil person and kill many other people or steal a lot of things, whereas the layperson may become a monk and become fully enlightened and a great teacher and supporter of others. So you don't really know. So we cannot really decide anyone's life value, because lives change, people change. You don't know what will the other person change in.
So then what if you do know what will happen? Like you have a map where you know this person will do good and then bad, but mostly good.
But we don't. But we don't have it. So it's not realistic solution. If this word, if ifs are true, well then we could say, if I have the psychic power to just make everybody an arahant, I will do it. And it's on the same level as your if. Why is my if not as probable as yours? They're in the same way improbable, right? So if I have the full power to make everybody fully enlightened right now, then I will do it. Okay? That's my if.
Future?
Sorry?
Did the Buddha know what would happen in the future?
Sure, the Buddha did. We believe he did.
Oh.
But the Buddha sometimes let people suffer so that more people would not suffer. So how did the Buddha do it? He would not participate. So for example, a nun is traveling in the forest. Now the Buddha could say, I know that this nun will be robbed and raped. And therefore, nuns are not allowed to travel in the forest alone. They must have somebody else with them. But the Buddha didn't do that. The Buddha was silent. So the nun went through the forest and she was robbed and raped. And so then the monks told it to the Buddha, and the Buddha said, okay, so from now on, nuns are not allowed to go alone in the forest. Now, why did the Buddha do that? If the Buddha said nuns are not allowed to go alone in the forest before the nun would be raped, people would just say, oh, the Buddha is a sexist. The Buddha would say, people would say, oh, you see, the Buddha, he is just, he doesn't want to allow nuns to go alone because he doesn't like women, because he's just not happy with women. He doesn't want women to become nuns. So people would criticize the Buddha and they would go to hell because of their wrong view, because they would criticize the Buddha. So instead, the Buddha allowed the nun to be raped and robbed, and so everybody now understands, the Buddha didn't decide it because he doesn't like ladies, but because there was a problem, because ladies are unable to take care of themselves. And we have a proof, evidence, real fact. So nobody can argue about that. Because today, for example, in the US, ladies are, why would men take care of me? I can take care of myself. I know how to take care of me. I'm strong. I'm powerful. No, they're not. We have an evidence. We have a proof. Okay? So it's very important. Ladies are very conceited today. And the fact that the Buddha led the ladies to get robbed and raped for their conceit, because the nun went alone, because she was conceited. She thought she can do it. Okay? Show me. Failed? Okay. So let's make a solution. The nun was conceited. So conceited that she went alone, even though that was not a traditional way. Traditionally, already in those times, everybody would know that going alone will result in a problem. But the nun was so conceited that she went alone. Today, the new nuns are again conceited, and they also travel alone. So they do not listen to the Buddha's teachings. But now, if they get raped or robbed, it's not the Buddha's problem. Because the Buddha clearly explained that this is not to be done. Yes, Tiri?
Will we have recitation and meditation today? Because
Yes.
I don't know.
I plan to do that, but
I'm going to say then.
I'm answering questions. So, Andre, is it clear now? The Buddha would know it. But sometimes these were really big problems. Like, for example, a monk was bit by a snake and he died. Okay? The Buddha could say, hey, monks, recite this recitation so that snakes do not bite you. But maybe the monks would not believe it. And then snakes would bite the monks because the monks did not believe it. Yeah, that's the way it is. The Buddha would first let the monks to die or to suffer, and the nuns as well. And then the Buddha would make the rule. We believe the Buddha knew the future, but we don't know it. The Buddha didn't say, oh, I knew that this will happen, but I just let it happen. No, the Buddha didn't say that. But traditionally, it is believed that the Buddha knew. So you don't know it. I don't know whether the Buddha knew that the nun will be robbed and raped. I don't know whether the Buddha knew that the monk will be bit by a snake. Traditionally, it is believed that he did, but we do not know. It's just a tradition. It's just an idea. Okay, so we don't know. So we cannot really resolve it. We cannot say, so did the Buddha think like this? Did the Buddha think like that? No, we don't know. And the Buddha said that there are 4 things you will never understand. That's the world, deep level of concentration, the kamma, our actions and results, and the Buddha. So anyway, we are not able to understand the Buddha. So it's a little difficult. But today, monks, when they go to forest, they carefully recite the recitation again for the monks. It's loving kindness specifically for snakes. So the monks recite this recitation, and maybe it protects them. It seems that it protects them, but I don't have that experience, so I cannot tell. Okay, Zoe, what is it? Last question.
Oh, I just need to use the bathroom.
Oh, amazing question. Yes. So let's get into the precepts. Denzai is not here today. I see. So it will be very simple. I actually have another meeting after 10 minutes. So we do not have much time. So let's get, what do you suggest? Previously we did recitation and we didn't do meditation, right? In one of the previous classes. So now what about if we do meditation and not the recitation? Okay. So let's sit in a comfortable meditation posture. Make sure your back is erect, side cast down. And we make the first determination from now on for 10 minutes. I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. And with that determination, we can gently, lovingly notice there's a flat piece of sinew at the top of the head. We allow it to be heavy and changing. We continue to the forehead, eyes, nose, lips, chin, cheeks, ears, back of the head. We allow all of the muscles and sinews throughout the head to be heavy and changing. We continue to the neck, shoulders, arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms, fingers, tips of fingers, chest, abdomen, back, we allow all of the muscles and sinews throughout the upper part of the body to be heavy and changing. We continue to the buttocks, thighs, knees, calves, heels, soles, toes, tips of toes. We allow all of the muscles and sinews throughout the body to be heavy and changing. And as we allow the body to be the way it is, we achieve freedom from worry about the body. Let's enjoy this freedom. Let's watch this peace. When we have established our mind in the peace, we can share it with other living beings. May all beings in this room be in peace. And if you think there are no other beings, at least you are there. May all beings in this building be in peace. May all beings in this city or village be in peace. May all beings, including me, be in peace. Now, because the time for this sitting is finished, let's make the last determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. And with that determination, we can slowly, mindfully change the way of our sitting. And when we have changed the way of our sitting, we can continue doing whatever you want. So may be happy, may be healthy, and may be successful in everything you do.
Bye.
Bye.